All right, welcome to the channel. Today I am joined by my two teammates on Ring of Destruction, Cameron Saunders and Hydro Pump. They just both got top 4 at the Big Boy Gaming 2K this past weekend in Smithfield, North Carolina. And also on top of that, for people who don't know, and the announcement is coming soon, but there's going to be a $5,000 tournament on, I believe, December 9th. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's December 9th at the NC State Fairground, I believe.
Okay, so that's going to be hosted by BBG though, right? Big Boy Gaming is hosting it?
Yep. I don't want to give false info on purpose for that, but I believe he said for State Fairground.
Okay, so location
renting
still
the concourse side of the Dorton Arena is what he said.
So yeah, that's going to be huge. Edison's first 5K, so that's a really big announcement because I don't think that Edison has ever had a tournament that is a $5,000 tournament. And there's been many tournaments that are like sizable, but this is the biggest Edison tournament next to Nationals by Konami, which, you know, first place prize was like the giant black rose that was worth upwards of 5K. But
the actual prize structure that Diego's told me is 4K in cash.
Yep.
As well as one of the giant black roses from Nationals.
Yes, and the giant black roses are over $1,000 minimum. So very, very good prize structure. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that show up to that. But just make your travel arrangements now. Just wanted to get that out the way because
there's also a maximum of 150 people in the venue, is what he said.
Oh, so there's so are they going to do, you think they're going to do pre-registration for that then or something? Because
I'm not sure. I will talk to Diego about it. I don't want to give any false info to anyone, but he did say that for the venue, 150 was the most. I'm sure we can probably squeeze in one or two more, but I don't know if it's like a size issue or like a chair table issue.
Yeah. So more details to follow as soon as they get the event page up, because you know these tournaments always have to create like a banner and an event page and all that stuff. As soon as they get that up, I'll do another video just kind of putting out those details and we can go from there. But for now, I just want everybody to know, at least have it on your radar, that December 9th there's going to be a very, very big tournament. So
just be on the lookout. Play on the floor.
I hope it doesn't come to that. But yeah, so okay, you guys both made top. Well, Cam, you got to the finals, and
yes.
So let's talk about the actual tournament. Like what happened? It was Edison, obviously. You played Hero Frogs, Cam, and in Hydro, you played your deck, which is Dragon Turbo, which has been doing really well. Deck. Yeah, I fucking hate that deck, but it's been doing very well this year, despite, you know, everything against it, including consistency. I know that there were some things that happened to RBET Moreno Valley where I don't think that all the plays were legal per se.
It was 100% legit.
But at least I know when you're playing the deck, you being the deck's creator, basically. So I know that you probably, you know what you're doing a lot. So how was it? What were your Swiss records? Let's start with that.
In Swiss, I very unimpressive 4-2.
Okay.
I was 5-1.
So what'd you lose to, Cam? What were your two losses in Swiss?
My loss was round 2, 2-0 to Gladiator Beasts.
Nice. Why does North Carolina love Glad Beasts? When I went there, I've been to North Carolina a couple times now, and the first time I went, I played Glad Beasts 2 rounds in a row. One of them was on stream round 1, and then the second one was off stream round 2. And I was playing Frogs, and I beat both of them, but it was like literally a heart attack every time because that is one of Frog's worst matchups. And luckily, no one really plays that deck, but it's just really obnoxious that it's even a deck at all.
There's a lot of Gladiator Beasts out here in the woods.
The spot in the fucking woods. I'm not getting into that.
Dude, that was a great night. That was a great night. The fans need to be updated on that, but not
now. It's so unhinged. Just the fact that I was propositioned to have a hookup in the woods in North Carolina, I will never forget that.
I played Gladiator Beasts. I got a spot in the woods.
Yeah, trying to put me in a ditch somewhere. But anyways, okay, so Cam, you lost the Glad Beasts round 2. You got 2-0, you said?
Yeah, 2. It was brutal. So I played against that guy in the last 2K. His name's Cole Ayers. He's a very good Gladiator Beast player. He knows his way around the deck. But I brutalized him with Diva Frog because I have the Roar main decks, and I go for like the Android turn 1 sometimes. I can't really do much about that. I was setting up Duplox. I was poking with Unifrog. In that tournament, he literally smashing ground twice in one turn my Duplox. So he negged 2 smashing ground just to be able to attack, and then I had him threatening Roar anyway. And it's one of those things like that matchup I feel is so good for Diva Frog, but I was on your list this time with the heroes.
Right.
And you have Battle Faders, and Battle Faders not exceptional versus Glads. It is if they don't have Chariot.
I was about to say, it's actually crazy how good it is if they don't have Chariot, because when I played against the 2 in North Carolina, that was the exact reason why I won, because I got Gyzarist for all of my field and then he tried to attack me directly, and I was like, well, this card is a god card right now because what else does this? So it negated his battle phase. Jaizaris didn't get to tag out. And then I bring back Trooper Frogs and my Monarch and won the game there. But I understand what you mean. If they have Chariot, it's a terrible card.
Right, yeah. And so he happened to open a Glad Beast, 2 Book of Moons, Chariot, a Prisma, and a Tiger or something. It was actually absurd what he opened because he booked one of my cards and then he went, I remember what it was. Yeah, he booked something and I used Miracle Fusion, summon 0, and he already has a Gazaris on board. And he books the Gazaris and then he Prisma Tigers to a second Gazaris. I'm like, okay. It's like,
yeah,
zero,
what are you
yeah, 0 on
to
kill it. Yeah, nothing. He 2 books and Chariot. He Chariots my Caius. Only play I had in my hand was to try and Caius the Gazaris. He has Chariot. Game 2, he gets a Heraclinos, and I just don't have the outs to it.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Yeah. Round 3, I lost to Diva Hero, and I can't complain one bit. I won game 1 very handily. We're talking like dupe, sub, swap frog on the field, looping Caius every turn.
Super James for that deck.
Yeah, I was doing it. But game 2, he dust shoots me, and he sees that I have Super Poly and Compulse, and I special summoned Prodigy to do something. Oh, I special summoned Prodigy to go Substitute, and he solemns it. But I have Super Poly, so I'm like, okay. So I said Super Poly and Compulse, and he has an Arma on board. He goes Diva, Special Diva, and he has Mally in the grave too. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for the Mally, but he's not dumb enough.
Yeah, I was there's no way.
So what actually wound up happening was, instead of me getting to summon 0 with his Diva and my Prodigy, I got very greedy and misplayed, and he went directly into Goyo and the Thought Ruler, and then he had a Snowman Eater. I don't know why that was in game 2, but it was, and it helped him out a lot. And he fought my Dupe Frog, and then he summoned Plague. And I wasn't dead yet, but I was like, my mind was elsewhere, and so I okayed it, and the second he put the Plague Spread in my grave, I realized Android's a Psychic. And I lost because you can't compulse it.
Right.
So that was game 2, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I just need to not be stupid. And then he sacks me with return, but I can't be mad because I should have won game 2. But
okay, that's fair. And then what else did you play for the other rounds?
Round 4, I played against the Mirror. That was Vanity's Fiend Turbo, all 3 games. Well, both of the post side games, I should say.
Yeah. The games that really matter.
Yeah, and then in Top Cut round 1,
so
it was a top 12 thing.
Right, they did the top 12. So top four of standings get a bye, and then the other 8 players have to play it out to see who gets into top 8. So you were one of the bottom 8, which is Story of Your Life, and you had to play for your life from top to get in bottom 8. So you had to play for your life to get in the top 8. And how did that go? So what was the first round for you? While Hydro was on the side, just waiting.
Yeah, I was literally sitting here watching.
I played against our mutual friend Adam Corey. He was on Bayou. I beat him 2-1. Game 2, I lost all my brain cells.
This seems like a common trend with you.
I don't think I was going to win game 2 anyway. But he had his board was Value Sirocco Armor Master, and the Armor Master was fake. And so I go Caius, and I banish the Armor Master, and then I run over to Value because I didn't check his grave, and he had another Sirocco, but I didn't realize, and so he summoned Armed Wing and pumped for lethal, and I was like,
oh my god,
I'm so stupid.
Right.
But I don't think I was winning that game anyway because none of the choices seemed very good. Because if I vanish the Value, he still has Armor Master over my Caius. I'm on very low. I'm on 900 life points. So
you still have to banish Armor Master, attack Sirocco, and then just leave him with the Value on the field.
Yeah, that was
the play. Yeah. Even if you're going to die anyway, that is still the play.
I'm pretty sure he drew Caius for a turn.
Yeah, so you were cooked anyway, but you still got to make the right play. We advocate for that.
Yeah, I definitely just.
And then game 3,
when he banished a Value, I looked at him like, where did that Sirocco come from? Because I know I didn't. But yeah, and then game 3 it was Frog dominate. He bricked. He had all normal summons, and I just looped the Caius with Swap Frog. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Top 8, I played against Glad Beast again. He won game 1, did Glad Beast stuff. I won game 2, and we had some banter back and forth. I was like, I hope that happens again. He was like, I hope game 1 happens again. Spoiler, game 1 didn't happen again. He opens Dimensional Fisher Ryo.
Oof.
And I'm like, I have Rhoda, so I can't use it, but
isn't it crazy how one Dupe Frog just OTKs that entire setup?
Yeah, well, he also managed to summon a Gazaris. somehow. Like I think he stalled enough turns to like get 2 glide beasts at once.
He just threw it on the field.
I couldn't do much under Vidify, so I had to like set dupe frogs and stuff. So he summons a Gizaris. He has Ryo. So I go discard. I think dupe frog special swap, and he tries to negate it with Ryo. And I'm like, no, sir, no, can't do that.
Yeah, you should.
For those who don't know, Ryo sends for cost. He can't do it under Dimensional Fissure. If he tributed, he could, but he sends for cost, so you can't do it under Dimensional Fissure or Macrocosmos. Oops. So I'm like, no, sir, not happening. So then I tribute the swap for Ryza. I put the Gizaris back and run over the Ryo, and he just draws nothing straight for several turns. I'm just beating him down with his Ryza till he has like the 3200 or whatever, and he finally manages to deal with it, get some tags off and stuff, but he summons a Prisma, can't use the effect. I mean, he's locked under his own Dimensional Fissure, and it's like. And meanwhile, I have Dust Tornado, I have Regeki Break, and I'm hitting all the other back rows because I don't care about the Dimensional Fissure anymore.
That happens a lot against those decks. Once you stick a monster, you're like, I don't care about your Floodgate now because you have to deal with my big ass monster.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of round 1, I completely skipped round 1 because we started talking about Glad Beasts and me losing round 2. Round 1, I played against a back row deck, and
there were terrorists. There were actual terrorists at this tournament. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think it's a fine matchup. Though I open Storm Fader, so he goes Ryo set 2, I draw pass. He summons Eidos, attacks, I Fader, and then I storm him. He has Solemn down, but he lets it go because like it's gross when you have to like Solemn for 2. So then I sack Ryza, put back Eidos. Sack 4 Ryza, put back Eidos. So that's dead now because I run over Ryo. He draws for turn and sets 2 back row.
Hold on. What the fuck is Eidos?
I know, that was the thing I was thinking. I was like,
Guardian Eidos. If you have no monster, you special
summon. No. Clearly someone hasn't watched the fucking anime. It's Guardian Iatos, okay? Call it right.
Okay, so he summons Eidos.
Eidos. I hate you so much for this.
I hate those.
Anyway, he summons the big one.
Yeah.
And I put it back with Ryza. I run over the Ryo, so it's dead now. He sets a monster in 2 back row, and I have 2 miracles in my hand. So I'm like, but I have no heroes. I actually had an Ocean, but no way to get into the grave. So I draw for turn. I summon Stratos. I get not Prodigy, the other Malicious Edge, and then I set both my miracles. Attack. It's Morphing Dart, and nice. So the game ends with me resolving all 3 miracles.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was nuts because I drew into a handful of frogs, so I special summon swap to send the Treeborn too. It was just disgusting. Game 2, he goes he only has like 1 back row up for most of the game until he draws a Starlight Road, and then it's really obvious when he drew it. But I go and I send Treeborn and I never bring it back, and I start Dust Tornadoing everything that I see like on the end phase until I can't. And because he wanted to protect his macro, so he kept setting other things. So I never bring back the Treeborn because I never want to lose to macro. And what I do is I summon Stratos, declare effect. I have no other hero, so like declaring effect only means searching. And he sends his backer to the grave. Like I can't pop obviously. So, but I'm like, but it's the macro. Yeah, it's the macro that I was playing around. And he's like, oh man, I'm so stupid. I'm like, it's okay. I knew what it was anyway. And so I search for a hero and I start doing stuff. And then eventually I draw Heavy Storm, and then I don't play it, and I just keep poking with Unifrog, and that's that match. Oh, and I ended game 1 with the Junk Synchron and a Mistworm play actually, because he had a monster 2 back row sets, and I didn't want to play. I didn't want to like go for that might have been game 2. I don't remember. It's foggy, but I remember I summoned a Mistworm because I didn't want to play Storm, and then I just bounced this field and went for game. So I only summoned Mistworm once in the whole tournament, but it was round 1. I'm glad I played it. So.
Yeah, that's actually crazy because I was just talking to Stango recently about Mistworm in the Frog deck because he was saying he wants to play Flamvel or Curzius or whatever. And I was like, you can literally play Mistworm or that Flamvel, dude. I don't care. I never summon any of them. And when you summon either of them, it's always for game and never anything in between. So like there are going to be games where you wish it was Mistworm. There are going to be games where you wish it was the Flamvel guy. You can't play both. And honestly, they come up like once every, I don't know, 50 to 100 games. Like they're very rare.
I think you can play both if you don't play Varaptinus.
You have to play Raptinus. That is not even.
I'm fully convinced you have to. If you're siding Super Poly, then you have to play Varaptinus because the Gemini deck will actually mess you up.
Yeah, the Gemini deck is wild. I literally played that shit in the finals of the Giant card because like that deck is terrifying. I realize if the hands where they go draw set 4 or set 3 back row, those games are scary as hell.
Yeah.
So
It's
Raptinus is here to stay. That wasn't even like a consideration for me to take out. And then the meme thing is also you can fuse double alias. Well, that pretty much never happens, but there are times when your hero beat opponent might just forget that it's game 2 and 3, and they should not be doing that.
Right, and a lot of people also aren't like. Not only is it not a guarantee that they're citing Super Poly, it's also not a guarantee that they're like mentally aware of Raptinus existing.
Yeah,
because most people like. Even if they have it in their extra deck, they might forget that double alias makes it because they're so used to using it against just the Gemini deck. You can literally get away with your opponent not flipping Super Poly if they're not paying attention. It's kind of funny.
So, okay, I guess we should move. What ended up happening with you? So you go, you
I
win.
beat the Glad Beast player.
You win top 12. So top 12, you played what?
Value.
You played against Adam.
You played against Adam. You beat Adam. And then top 8, you play against what?
Glad Beast.
And you beat the Glad Beast. So now you're in top 4, and now you have to play against Hydro
top 4. Yeah, I'm playing against him, and he has to go to a party, and so he just gives me the win.
Right.
We split top 4 anyway. So like I didn't win any like undeserved money or whatever. We all just agreed to split top 4.
So that was that. How much was it each, if you don't mind me asking?
$275.
Oh, that's really good. And then let's switch over to Hydro now. Talk about your tournament experience before we like wrap up the whole thing. So Hydro, you went 5-1 in Swiss. What round did you lose?
I lost round 2.
Oh, you both lost round 2.
Yep.
That's wild. Okay, so round 1, what did you play against, if you remember? Because you're playing Dragon Turbo. So
I played against. Speaking of terrorist decks, I played against Chainburn.
What is wrong with people in North Carolina?
Well,
that was Frog Slicer, by the way, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you remember him from?
Yes,
he topped that tournament before
the Friday
Nationals.
night before Nationals. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was playing the same thing, and generally it's considered that Dragon Turbo has a really good Chamber matchup because you got Prime Material Dragon and then World Decree in the side deck, so
makes sense.
Prime Material can stop all their burn stuff. But the match was actually super close. So game 1, he had like a weird setup where you had like a full back row, but you had like Cyber Valley, and then I had a full board of dragons, but I was having like just like tough. He kept on having like Wabakus and stuff, and I couldn't kill him. But then so we just had like a really long game stalemate thing, but eventually won. It was just like because I had Drago and Prime Material up, but then I couldn't make Dark End because I had Drago up, and if I make Dark End, I'm getting rid of Prime Material Dragon, so it's really awkward. Just like trying to balance. If I balance Prime Material Dragon, I'm gonna die. But if I make Dark End, I can get rid of his guy. So it was kind of just a lot of thinking there, and then so I won that game eventually, and then game 2, I think turn 1 I went through like literally half my deck, Dragon Turbo things. I had discarded 8 dragons up to that point in the turn, and I didn't find any super juice. So all 3 of your juice are still on the deck. I didn't find Prime Material Dragon. I didn't find Future Fusion. I didn't find World Decrees. So I didn't find like any of my side cards really, which was kind of crazy. And then he eventually just won that game. And then game 3, I think we started like close to time. Time started like a couple minutes after. So both those games were really long. And then game 3, I couldn't find Decree or Prime Material Dragon, so I had to go like Giant Trunade, his sets, and he didn't have like Wabaku or anything. So I just like summoned red mid, and like Drago, and then the Drago to stop his like Battle Fader if he had it. And then I just did attack, try to do a bunch of damage, and hopefully you can't burn over that. And then it was a weird game state where I could attack if I want to, but I didn't want to because it was like the getting low on turns, and I eventually just won those in time. I won in time against Chainburn.
Right.
So imagine that.
Yes. But, so that's all right. So then round 2, you lose against, what is it?
I lost to Hero Beat Diva Hero Beat surprisingly, which is usually like that. I consider Hero Beat to be my best matchup.
Why is that though?
Because usually they just can't like put enough pressure on you, and then like you don't really care what their board.
I don't really know if that's true though, because Diva Hero Beat specifically can do 7900 out of nowhere.
Yeah, but like
if you summon the huge guy, if
your hand with Dragon Turbo is not a very good one, they can, so it's always, first off, die roll, right? If they win the die roll and they go Summon Stratos, search, set 2 back row, a very standard opening. This is not anything busted or anything like that. Summon Stratos, set 2 back row, go. On the following turn, if they have Diva, like shit can get so bad so fast, because now they already went first, so that first battle phase that they get, they can drop you to either half of your life or more. And if they have Miracle Fusion on top of that, then it's like they could put you so low that now they only have to touch you with like an Honest or something. So in that way, I could see that matchup being like sure, it might not be the hardest, but I do think that Diva Hero Beat specifically is a deck that can.
Yeah.
Like,
it's more so regular Hero Beat that's like super easy, and then Diva Hero Beat is a little harder.
Regular Hero Beat's kind of free because, like, especially game 2 with the degrees inside.
I also thought the same thing about the Frog matchup against Hero Beat. Like, Frogs beat Hero Beat really bad, but then Diva Hero Beat changes the game because it's so much more aggressive. And like, even when they go turn 1, summon Android, set 2 back row, go, right? Like, that shit is very. That's like a lot of pressure for Frogs because you can't just go, oh, I just set Dupe Frog here and I just wall off all of your aggression for the entire turn. Like, that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, normal summon a level 5 synchro is crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, it is. Gain 600, like, you know, and they didn't go minus to do it, and it sets up a water in the grave and all that, and then they still haven't summoned Stratos yet. And that play happens a lot of the time when that deck opens up Diva, and like, you know, they have like Diva equal or whatever. A lot of times they'll just go like, fuck it, I'll just summon this Android turn 1 and set some back row, and then it's just so much pressure really early on. But so you end up losing to Diva Hero Beat, which I think, you know, is one of the best decks in the format. It's the most popular deck in the format officially now too. Like, more people are playing that than they are Black Wings now. So like, everyone needs to know that meta shift has happened where there are more Diva Hero Beat players and just Hero Beat players in general than there are Black Wing players. And that's just what it is now.
Hero Beat definitely puts down Black Wings.
Yeah.
A little bit. So. But anyways, game 1, I just talk about this match real quick, briefly. Game 1 I got really unlucky because I like did draw a thing like first early couple turns, and then I was really low on cards in deck, and I was gonna go for the kill play, and I did like Heavy Storm and Heat Chain Trap Dust Shoot, and I only found like 1 Debris Dragon when I had like all my Debris Dragons. So he returned my Debris Dragon, and I had like 3 red mids in hand or something like that. I just couldn't find another small dragon. Yeah. So it was like I don't remember exactly what happened, but then
you just lost right there.
Well, I remember I had to do something like get instant fusion back with Magical Stone, but it wasn't enough to kill him, I think. Yeah. So I had a field of like Prime Material, red mid, and then he also had Brain Control on top of that, which maybe I should have put 1 red mid out there in Prime Material, but I don't remember what my life was, so if I was low.
I hate hindsight stuff. Like, you're not doing that. I mean, you did.
So he had Trap Dust Shoot and Brain Control.
Right, yeah, it happens, right? Like, some games are just not actually winnable. That is the reality of playing a card game, and you just have to be okay with that. And even if you go back and watch the replay and be like, I could have won if I did this, you have to also ask yourself, is the play that you could have done even reasonable? Like, from a logical person, is it reasonable to do this obscure ass play that makes no sense outside of seeing the replay? It's like, probably not. So I don't think you did anything wrong.
I didn't really put too much stock into it. But
so
the thing that got me was I was looking for Pot Avarice, and I'm down to 3 cards left in deck. I'm like, and again, you can only activate Pot or Avarice if you have at least 2 cards left in deck.
Correct.
Which I hate. And then I draw my card, and it was Giant Trunade, and then the bottom 2 was Pot. My next card was Pot Avarice. So if like I would have drawn Pot Avarice, then I would have won. But and then game 2 I won, and then game 3 I lost in time. Ironically, this deck can win really fast or just play in the time. It's really weird.
Yeah, this seems to be a trend here. But okay, so like very
take you 40 minutes to do your actual turn.
Yeah, you're playing modern. That's the problem, is that deck is a modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck. It takes fucking forever to play out.
But all the rest of my matches were super quick.
Okay, well, how about you be super quick and tell us what happened without actually going play by play, and knows like what did you play against, and just kind of say if you won or lost, because you know you could do your tournament report on your own channel.
Okay.
Like, I don't.
We just listen to Cam spiel.
I know, and that's why I'm telling you. Like, I'm not trying to hear it again. That's exactly why.
They love me more.
Well, luckily for you, those were the only 2 like interesting rounds.
Okay.
Round 3, I'm playing as Frog Monarch, and I win 2-0.
Straight up Frog Monarch.
I think so.
Yeah, you beat him so bad that you couldn't even tell though.
Yeah, well, I tied in a second Drago in case he had DD Crow.
Right.
And I had dumped 2 Dragos in the grave for like Future Fusion, and I go red med effect. Like, I'm going for the kill shot. I go red med effect. I summon Drago, and he's like, DD Crow. I'm like,
this doesn't
target.
Okay, yeah.
So you didn't know that, and then he's like, oh, okay, I just lose. And then so that was that match. Then round 4 was against Black Wings, and I think I killed him turn 2 or 3 both games. It was pretty wild. Round 5, I'm playing as Frog Hero. I don't know if he just like mentally scooped, but he saw us playing dragons, and I don't know, he just didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And then round 6, I'm playing against Willy Dad. Apparently, this guy was like messing everyone up, and he had like a blinged out Willy Dad deck, just like ulti Kaiases and super Krebons and everything max rarity as far as I could see.
I wonder who that was. I like max rarity stuff.
I've seen him around before, but
Yeah.
So game one, I think I just dragoned him, and then game two, I literally just beat him down with a Drago, and he just couldn't handle, which was funny. And then I played top 8 against this weird hero recruiter monarch deck. It was essentially like Diva Hero without divas, which
Was that Bernard?
Yeah.
Mm.
I did dragon things game one, and then game two he just scooped to a Drago too. he set Divine Wrath and Mystic Tomato turn 1, and I summoned Drago and attacked, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you played that." And then end phase he tried Divine Wrath my Drago. I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't work." And
yeah, Bernard's not a very online player. I don't think he knows.
Yeah, so that was pretty much that game.
Wait. Drago on the end phase, that you can't Divine Wrath that?
No, it's a maintenance cost.
Oh, it doesn't use the chain?
No,
it's not an online player either.
What? What'd you say, bitch? What'd you say? First of all, I would not be playing Divine Wrath, you little shit, so I wouldn't have to worry about this. Somebody just asked me in the comments.
You don't know about the Divine Wrath place?
I will pass on Divine Wrath. Sorry to that man. Yeah.
He won in round 6 because he had like triple Divine Wrath like in a row back to back off the top.
Are you being serious or are you memeing?
Dude, I'm dead serious.
Okay. Yeah, well, I will pass on Divine. I didn't know that you can't apparently Divine Wrath Draco. Like, I would never be in that situation myself, but like, I'm glad to know. I guess now.
Now you know.
Yeah, it has no relevance at all. But yeah, that's good to know that it does not actually use the chain. So, all right, so that's top 8. So now top 4, you get paired up against Cam, which is a team kill, unfortunately. But luckily, you have to go to a party, so you're like, all right, I'm gonna give Cam the win. He's my teammate. You know, give Cam the blessing to take the tournament down, and then he fails you, right? You know, that's basically where it goes. But you guys have already split, so there are no stakes anymore except for just like saying
honestly,
you won the tournament.
If I didn't have to go anywhere, I would have played it out.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you want to win.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, though, I would have been a little more mad if I actually did wind up winning, because like the first place prize was 500, the second place was 300, and I got 275 for splitting. Right. I only lost $25 to get a guaranteed spot here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, if you won the whole tournament, if you didn't split, you get 500. But like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And gambling, when clearly the other people in top 4, they also have to be a bit lucky too. That's how I always look at it. If you made it that far, like, you're probably good, but you're definitely lucky. That's always my thing. So
yeah.
And we had another. It was like the 1K a couple months back, or in the winter, where I think it was the first time me and Cam played at BBG, and we ended up playing top 4 or going to top 4, and we split top 4 because we were going to be paired again. So I had to spare Cam again.
History repeats.
Yeah.
You see, that's the thing. I split because I knew there was no chance I was beating Dragon Turbo with the deck I was playing.
Yeah, Dragon Turbo is that matchup. I mean, you really have to draw like the stones. Like, you have to draw the Trap Dust Shoot, Miracle Fusion, Infernal Prodigy, Substitute, like just all the things. But Cam, you play Hero Frogs. The night before, you sent me a message, but I was literally streaming an online local, and you were like, hey, tomorrow I think I'm going to play your deck with like 2 cards different or some shit. And I really didn't even get a chance to get back to you because I streamed the whole night, and then I just went right to bed. And then the next day you were in top 4 anyway, and then in the final. So I was like, okay, well, everything worked out, because to be perfectly honest at this point, like the Hero Frog list that I'm known for, you like, everyone has basically been playing it and just changing like 1 or 2 cards. I don't think that anything else has to really be done to it. I think it's.
I didn't even change a main either. Like, I only changed. I took the Mirror Force Torrential out of the side because I think they suck, and I put another Crow compulsory.
Listen, I don't like Mirror Force, but Torrential, dear God, people, Cam, I don't know what it is. But people know, like, they fucking know that the deck size Torrential, and they all blatantly give you pluses. I've never gotten 3 and 4 monsters as much as I've gotten 3 and 4 monsters with the Torrential and Frogs, specifically because no one respects it.
It's fair.
Like, until people officially make me pay for setting it, like, once people just like attack, right? And then I have Torrential set, but that just never happens. People do not punish the Torrential ever. They always summon a Fossil in main phase 2. They always go a little extra, and they get punished, and I just win the game from it. So and when the day comes when that stops happening, I will officially be like, okay, this card can go back to not being sided in this deck. But
honestly,
right now,
I should have kept it over the 3rd Crow, because I don't think I ever sided in all 3 copies of Crow. But the second compulsory was fine, and it's funny because the guy that I was playing against in finals was playing your literal deck, except he cut 1 Regeki break for a Torrential, so it's a 39 out of 40 mirror match.
Yeah, that's crazy.
and he clapped me with a torrential in game one.
Oh my god, I fucking hate you. I hate you
I cut
so
that
much.
torrential and I got wrecked by it.
You don't main it. I'm gonna play into the card that you don't main. Okay, listen.
So unreal.
Yeah.
Literally unreal. This whole time this guy's talking shit and then come to find out, spoiler alert, he fucking loses the retro tribute. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh god. Well, that's good though.
My
So
jealousy it's what
yeah.
is what drives my card opinions. Okay.
I mean, I do have biases and stuff like that too. Like, I'm very biased against certain things. Like, I have a very skewed look on Edison format because the last 6 months or so I've been playing Frogs. And so a lot of cards that are not actually bad or even mid cards in Edison format, I don't have a high opinion of them right now because they're all so terrible against Frogs. You know what I mean? Like, D Prison is a card that I despise because, you know, it's not good against Frogs, but it is the most played card in the entire format. Like, in any tournament, if you look at the chart, it is the #1 played card in the format. And like, I hate that card. But it's not that it's a bad card. Like, no, you know, I can't really say that D Prison is a bad card in Edison. It's just that my brain is like, well, you want them to have D Prison when you're playing with Frogs, right? Like, that is one of the worst cards they could have. So
I went out at the 3v3 that BBG hosted a few months back. I played against Tyree Tinsley.
Oh yes, I remember this.
Yeah, and so I had lethal if I just dropped honest over his guy, but I went for a more flashy line because I didn't want to lose to Mirror Force or whatever. It was really dumb, and so the only card that he can possibly flip that keeps me from winning the game is a scapegoat, and so he wins that game off of the scapegoat and like 2 econ top decks in a row or something. It was like really ridiculous, and I was like, I wasn't respecting Scapegoat because that card's horrible, and so I was like, such a terrible card while I'm scooping up my cards.
Yeah, as you're alluding to it, you're like, fuck this Scapegoat card. So I see now, if you really don't like a card, I know now exactly what happened. I know that in your past, at some point, that card has been the exact reason why you lost a duel. And that's why you despise it.
So if you play against Cam, just keep in mind he's gonna lose to a random one of.
Yes. Yeah. No. Every time. It's.
I mean, that's all of us. I feel like at this point though, like one ofs are notorious for just doing the absolute most in Edison format. There are so many powerful ones. That's the problem. Like Edison has a lot of them. The zombie deck. Like I've mentioned this in prior videos, but the zombie deck literally plays 22 plus one ofs. Like there are 20, it's more than half of cards that are actually at 1. Not like they're playing 1 copy. The cards are at 1, like Dark Arm, Burial, Foolish, Mizuki, fucking Plague Splitter, Zombie, like Return from Different Dimensions, Solemn, Torrential, Mirror Force, and the list just goes on and on. Spirit Reaper, like it's so many of them. Sandgan, Card Trooper sometimes, like Gale sometimes. They play so many one-ofs, and it's just like when you play against that deck, it can be really frustrating because you feel like you got sacked when you look at what they played. You're like, damn, this guy literally played 14 one-ofs, but then if you look at a zombie deck list, you're like, well, there are actually 22 of them. So
like that's the thing
with the one-off.
Yeah, that's like if you play against a deck that's like 13 3-ofs and then a 1-of and they draw a 1-of, it's reasonable at that point. Like they had the literal 1-of in there. Like if you play against Blackwings, they have the Dark Arm. You know, it's like
that hurts.
You know, but you play against zombies, like their hand is more likely than not 5 actual limited cards.
Yeah, it happens so often that I don't even get mad when zombies do some crazy turn. Like one turn, they'll just do something absolutely ridiculous. And you look at the string of cards they play, and you're like, that is an absurd string of one-ofs. But then, again, when it's zombies, I don't get mad. Same thing with Diva Hero. Diva Hero plays like, at least Kairo's build, it plays close to 20 one-ofs. So I feel the same way. It's like, yeah, if you draw these hands, like half of your deck is literally Future Fusion, Brain Control, Heavy, Mind Control, Return, Solemn, Torrential, Mirror Force, Plague, etc. Like it's all these fucking one-off cards. So
yeah,
it's like, it happens.
Personally, I like one-ups in deck building too because you get situations like that where like, you know, like people have this weird idea of consistency where they want to do the same thing every single time, but Diva Hero is consistent in a different way. Because like it's not consistent in like you always have this one singular push you're playing for.
It wins in very different ways.
Yeah, you're always doing something impactful.
Yep.
And so like you draw a hand of like limited. Well, yeah, okay. Not always. But the point of
Summon Spined Gilman says what's up.
Gilman's broken.
But the idea behind one-ofs is that like your deck is, even if it's all limited cards, it can be consistent because they can play together in multiple ways. So like I actually kind of like one-ofs like that. So.
Yeah, no, I like one-ofs too because I realize the decks that play a lot of one-ofs, it's kind of hard to side against them a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like
true.
it
You don't
like
know
it's
you don't actually know what they're gonna drop on you.
yeah, you don't know how the game is going to play out. And so, but this is, we can have this conversation. I think this is actually a very interesting topic that we can expand on at another time. But I did want to just get you guys on to talk about your top 4 finish at this recent $2,000 tournament. And again, there is a $5,000 tournament coming up December 9th in North Carolina. So the same place as Nationals, because I think you guys said Raleigh. We will confirm the details, and then there will be another video
Yeah.
on that.
Dorton Arena, it's very close to where we were.
I'll probably
Okay.
do a video for it just to get the word out.
Yeah, we should all, like, everyone who has a YouTube channel will probably just be covering. I mean, it's literally, Edison has not had a 5K outside of Konami's giant Time Wizard tournament. So this is going to be huge. And 4K cash is really fucking nice. So I will be there.
Sure. Like,
all the boys
first place
from
should
Philly.
probably get 1,000 on their own if we follow the normal prize structure.
It would be nice if first place got more than 1,000, to be honest.
Yeah.
But whatever they decide to do, I will be there no matter what, because that is not only a good prize, but I also just I like the area. Like, I like, I've gone to North Carolina this year, I think 2 or 3 times. So I have no problem going again.
Diego, the owner of Big Boy Gaming, is a great guy. He runs a lot of these tournaments. For those of you who don't know, I mean, he tells me this certain tournaments. I'll talk to him, just be like, he's like, yeah, I lost so and so. He said he lost $600 on the 2K this weekend because he didn't have the turnout he expected, and he ran anyway. He still paid out the day after Nationals. We did $1,000 cash prize tournament, and because people were still cooped up in Raleigh talking to their friends and stuff, only 12 people showed up. He still paid out 1,000 to top 4.
Yeah, that was wild.
And he said he ran in a super loss, but he wants to build a community. He wants to push, especially with North Carolina community, but kind of just all the Edison Yu-Gi-Oh community forward. And even when the estimated number of people show up, he only breaks it. Like he will lose money on like the lights to have the building open that day. Like he will mostly only break even on these tournaments, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's also a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, he's very nice. He let me stay over at his house both the nights of Nationals because I would have to drive so far to get back to him the next morning. So I was like,
yeah. So
I've known him for a long time, and he's kind of been carrying the East Coast Edison tournaments.
Yeah, he has actually. Yeah. When I think about it, on the East Coast, I think for sure Big Boy Gaming is the place to go for decent prizes, and also like the store is huge and all that good stuff. Yeah. So yeah,
very roomy in there. Great atmosphere too. Everyone who goes is like really nice.
Yeah. So as far as East Coast goes, it's not even a question. But
yeah, so anyone absolutely come out. Like I'm sure, honest to God, if we break the 150 people, I'm sure they'll probably even make accommodations because I can't speak for Diego on that. I don't know how. Like I said, I don't know what the precise limitation making it 150 is, but. I mean, if we get more than that, something can probably be worked out because, like, we want people, we want the scene to be big. So, yeah.
Yeah, same. All right. Well, this pretty much wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it with my teammates here, Ring of Destruction, Cam Saunders, and Hydro Pump. And yeah, we will catch you in the next one. I'm going to end it here, and that's all. See ya.